Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Seed to Harvest with your host, Paige Doherty. I'm the founding partner behind Genius Ventures, and today I am joined by a very special guest. We share a co-investment together in Maniva. Shout out Ray, who is an
Ray,
incredible
shout out to
founder.
Ray.
Also, how we met each other. Adam, welcome on.
Thank you for having me, Paige. I'm excited to be here and chop it up with you.
Tell me about a time with Founder where you were just like, yes, this is what we are looking for, and like what made you feel that way.
Sure. So maybe it's just one for us too that we're in though together, right? So Maniva is the name of the company. Ray Jung is the CEO. Shout out though to Ray. And I think when we met Ray, we knew we wanted to invest in the first minute. So maybe let it back up a little bit. So what do we look for like in the phenotype of a founder maybe? So what I think is like so important is the operating experience in the industry you want to build it. I think sometimes, we index for it's the person who's at a McKinsey, who's like super sharp, who sees a white space in an area, who can spin up an amazing story. But like when it comes time though to selling in that industry, if you haven't been in it, it's so hard. So now for Ray, he's from Ontario, Canada. He's been working in just, like assembly lines and factories ever since he's been 10 years old,
12.
I believe,
Yeah.
12.
Scars
And
on
like,
his hands to prove it.
you're right. Yeah. Right. And when he was just talking about just, the application, right, of AI, like in a manufacturing setting, you can tell that he was talking about though, from like, here's the impact, to the person who's working on sort of an assembly line or like a pack and ship area, or who ingests a pallet though, and just sort of automate that. So what I found though with Ray was that it was a deep, deep understanding of the impact to the industry, say on the worker. And then of course, also he has the acumen though to build though the AI. So what I love about that is that it's the ability to sell based on it, right? That it's authentic. It's him and his core. It's his nature. So then, of course, he's able to build the product. So for us, we look for that sort of like as like a phenotype and a founder. We also love that sector. So what we invest in, it's the reindustrialization, right, of the U.S. So it's the application of AI, robotics, automation, right, in just for those sort of sectors, right? So yeah, just we loved Ray and Maniva sort of on the second is that we met him.
Do I have this wrong, or was Brendan involved in setting up Reindustrialize
Yeah.
conference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Totally
So
after about it.
yeah. So yeah, he lives in Michigan, Brandon. He's on the board so that to bring that out of Michigan there. And yeah, I think, for us, that's just been like an amazing thing for the fund, is just to be able to bring investors and founders, right, and folks in the government who all sort of shared this sentiment, right? So, reindustrialization of the U.S., trying to sort of invest in things that are sort of like as an impact, the GDP of the U.S. and the infrastructure, right, from energy, defense, et cetera. So that's been amazing for us. And like, it's in our blood, just, we love it. I can share more for how we got there, sort of out of order, but just, however you want to take it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Well, I guess, yeah, let's go in. Maybe we can spend some time on like what about manufacturing in the US and the application of AI and robotics was interesting. Was there like
Yeah.
a company that you guys invested in where you're like, oh, we should do this? Or like, what is it, your background
Sure.
building a company like and leveraging manufacturing and those technologies like in the process of it?
So like in the first year of our fund, I said to Brandon is that we need to have something though to give founders. We need to not sound like every other fund manager, essentially, right? So what happened was, and it was almost out of insecurity and luck. So we have a few LPs.
The perfect combination.
First of all, you have to be super insecure and you got to be lucky. So we have a few LPs in the first fund though, who own some of these businesses, right? So they are, say, like a window manufacturer right, or like a CNC shop, and they asked so to get like an update on the fund. So we went, say, to their factory, and like it was almost like we were both like smacked in the face as like a wake up call, and we started to realize from those meetings that these were huge businesses that were still so offline, that had so many things happening, right, without any software. And we started to ask these folks and executives, hey, like, would you mind though to share with us like an end though to end sort of a factory tour so we can understand some of the workflows in your business? Is there software here being used or not? So where are your cost centers? Where are the, some of the redundancies, et cetera. So the more that we saw that, it was like, oh my God, like here's the opportunity, right? So some of the insights that we got, right? So we did over 200 hours, right, of these sort of like showing up at a factory though to get a tour. So we really saw three main things. One is that you had folks that were doing $300 million in revenue or more who just installed like an ERP 1 year ago. Wow. So the lack of the ability though to be able to see information in their own thing in business in real time was like a real thing sort of across companies, as in who's in our supply chain. So what's the sales here, right, for this area of the company? What's the cost of the inventory or something here? It was impossible though to know that though in real time. So now the other thing also too that we saw is that there's an aging out now here, is where you had executives in these companies who were there for 30 years, who were able though to grow through like a lot of M&A, but not really through efficiencies. So now they're leaving. So there was like a new guard now showing up, call it 35, let's say they're 50 years old, who said to themselves, we need to work on some of the margin expansion here for our business. We need to figure out a way to supplement the fact is that it's so hard though to hire on the factory floor. So we need to supplement that, say, with software. So there was an openness to start though to test new AI, right, and software innovations as a way though to help the margins and though to help, like with automation too. So what we said to ourselves is that if we start though with the customer, right? So the folks that are at these companies and we deeply, deeply understand how they run their business. So now we gain their trust. So now when we say to them, since we understand here are the shortcomings in your business, here are the pain points, should we find a founder who wants to solve that for you? We want to serve as the bridge in the middle. So we want to be able to bring you this innovation because you're not able to access it now. And we started to do that time and time again. And then we said to ourselves, here's the unique offering. From those factory tours, here are the insights so that we have, so we understand who wants innovation, who can ingest it, who will pay for it. And then for so many founders, it's the ability to give them now like a new customer who is not accessible usually, right? Like it's super easy though to make an introduction though to Uber. It's not super easy though to make an introduction, let's say like a window manufacturer, who's doing $300 to $400 million in top line.
I have a question on this. One like interesting stat that I read recently was that the top target of cyber attacks is manufacturing facilities. I'm curious to like understand more about your perspective on like, as a lot of these factories, like there are risks involved in expanding their technology stack, because it does put like, if there is an attack on like those companies or their factory, it can take their production offline. So how have you thought about like cybersecurity and manufacturing?
Yeah. So I think, what's interesting about that is, so now what's happening right on the inside of these factories is the machines are now online more, right? So there's more things like in the past, they were never online. So there's nothing really to hack into, right? So now they are. So what you're going to see now happening is the more that you start to ingest AI, right, and the software here is, here are the ripple effects here. So I think for us as investors is that if you understand that though, it's just though to get ahead of that though more though to find solutions, say, to protect them more. So the other thing also too is that it's a new frontier now here for these owners. So like in 40 years, they never thought about a cyber attack because you didn't have anything really to attack. So I think what happens is that You want to walk first though, and then run, right? So whenever that we meet a founder who's saying, okay, well, I'm going to automate now everything on the inside of a factory. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
So you want to walk first. You want to find is where you can start small and you could, use that edge, use the margin expansion, show the ROI to the owner, who then is going to start to be more open though to expand even more. So yeah, so we love that sector. We're all in on it. We think that it's just the automation of this is going to help, with the margin expansion, right, in these companies. So there's going to be like a revaluation now in manufacturing. So the S&P 500, right? There's only 70 firms in the S&P who are industrial. So we believe in the next 8 to 10 years, that will go from 75, like 135 or 40 because of now. So there's going to be not as much downtime in factories. So there's more throughput, more revenue, right? So more margin expansion. So like a revaluation there. And we sit in Michigan as well, right? Which helps us because, we're near the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of learnings I just shared for things that if I was on the phone with you about like a year and a half ago, I would not be saying any of this. And I guess it speaks toward though, as a fund manager, is like, you shouldn't be static, right? You have to think and observe and look, see where you have an edge or a network, and then try to use that though to help your founders.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, I love that. As we come to the end of our recording time, I guess, are there any questions that are top of mind for me or anything that you want to ask me?
Yes, I actually do.
All right.
Yeah. So I think that you have done like an amazing job at showing the ability to build a brand. And I think, for me, yeah. And I think that what's hard for me is like, what does it mean though to be a brand? Right. So yeah, so as a fund manager, like, is the brand how your founders see you? Is the brand how LPs see you? Is the brand how other funds see you? And is it possible though to build a brand for all of those? Or do you look at it as separate things? Like just, what are your thoughts on the audience, I guess, and then some of the brand?
Yeah. Okay, a couple thoughts. So, my foundation in brand building comes from how do I scale the impact that I can have on people with like the highest leverage. So when I was in college, I was studying a lot of these entrepreneurs who were building like large social followings, and I feel like there's still not that many like tech and entrepreneurship creators out there. Like I was just at YC demo day and I ran into this one who was like, "Oh, like I'm a tech creator. Like we're a rare breed." And it really is true. Like there's not that many people putting out quality educational content from an inside perspective of what Silicon Valley is like and what that culture is like. And so that's one, is like focusing on the impact that I can have. And two is like something that I learned from teaching the venture capital class at SUSU is like a lot of people have no idea how ingrained, I feel like it's becoming to be more transparent, but like how important like venture capital is to the innovation economy and like what are the different elements of incentives that govern the growth of companies and like therefore the growth of the economy. And I feel like it's definitely like becoming to be more apparent. But when I sort of like I watched Silicon Valley the show and I was like, is this
Yeah.
it really? And it was literally like a gross understatement of like
You're
all
so
of
right.
these like interesting dynamics that were happening. Like my background is in engineering and I always think about like what are like the like network systems and like how like that was just so interesting to me. So I feel like I was naturally curious about that. And then sharing it brought me a lot of joy. So I don't know. It was like that. And then like a revolt against like the AI swap, the like corporate communications, you're not saying anything. Like that to me was like, why don't I just tell real stories about things that I'm excited about or things that I'm learning? And like, yes, I can be wrong. And like, yes, it is cringe to put stuff like that online. But if I just like continue to practice that, I meet interesting people. So like
Yeah.
some of the cool stuff that's come of it is like that's how I met Red. We wrote a piece called The Technical Storyteller. A founder in my network saw it and was like, I met Ray through University of Waterloo. Like, you need to meet him. He is the definition of this. So now, as the firm's expanded, I think about it a lot as like increasing our founder magnets.
Yeah,
So like,
that's great.
yeah. So like that, the brand works while I sleep is how I think about it, and
Yeah,
continues to
cool.
compound.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. That's a good tagline. I like that. So one
Yeah.
more question too for me is this. So the emotions sort of, just, the job is emotional, right?
Yes.
It's of just, what you see in some of the founders that you invest in, some of the progress right on the fund as a whole. So what do you do as a way to kind of try to balance yourself maybe, or sort of not let some of your own emotions then affect, let's say, like a founder that you're speaking to or not, just anything around that?
Okay, so I guess the question is more around like cultivating equanimity, which is like one of the values that
Well, that's a good way
we
to
hold
put it.
it. Yeah, behind Genius. So it's about like discipline excellence, founder empathy, and equanimity. And equanimity is maintaining a sense of like emotional or spiritual balance through challenging times. And at a startup, it can be your worst day, it can be your best day, it can happen in the same time. And so what I have learned in the process, like balance that as both like the number of founders that we support has gone up. Like it's gone from like balancing like 2 or 3 companies, like balancing 55 founding teams who at any given time are having either like the best or worst day. I think what's kept me balanced is understanding that one of the most important roles as a firm manager is to have that equanimity, is to have like a balanced mind, even when things are going not great or really great, is and just like having that as core focus. I think so. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go do like a creative outlet, like I'll go to a pottery class, or I'll just think about cultivating that sense of energy and having them be like a real focus. And then you can like apply different tactics to get there, but
Yeah.
just having it be top of mind, because like when you're making those big decisions on what companies or founders to invest in, you really need to be in that headspace. It's really hard to make a strong investment decision if you're not.
I totally agree. And the thing I say to myself a lot is just, whatever I have, if I'm super happy, not if I, right. But like, just, you see a founder and they have so many more worries and things. And for you ever though to add onto that plate is just
Yeah.
like
It's
so
like
unfair.
the meme of the person with all the arrows in their back and like the person right there. It's like you have to take all of those pressures that are upon you and shield your founders from any additional stress that you could add.
Yes, yes. And the
Yeah.
thing I'll just say though is, we hear this, from other founders, some investors, like, it's just a
Do
hard
not
thing.
do this well.
Correct, and like I
Yeah.
sort of like I can understand as to why it happens, but I just think it's on us just to try to separate ourselves a little bit, right? And just to understand, just like that it's not our job though to add anything else into that founder. But no,
Yeah.
look, this is an
Cool.
amazing talk, and like I really enjoyed it, Paige. It's about damn time that we did it. I'm really excited to work with you more and just to be your friend and colleague and all the above.
Me too. Adam, thank you so much for coming on. If a founder is listening to this, where can they get in touch with you if they resonate with what you had to say about the reindustrialization of America
Yes.
and getting in touch with a few window manufacturers who are doing $300 million
Yes.
in revenue?
Yeah, sure. So on X, all my 509 followers. So it's at Adam Gartenberg, or shoot me an email. So that's adam@640oxford.com. And I'd be happy to speak with anybody.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Adam.
Thank you for having me, Paige. It was lovely.